Hello. I hope you all had a good Christmas. Even if you don't celebrate, I hope the 25th of December was a good day for you. I'm celebrating only in the traditional sense, i.e., it's a tradition. I'm not a religious Christmas person. Um, but yeah, it's an excuse to drink port in the middle of the afternoon. I will, as usual, be having a dry January, so I get to make up for it by consuming all the spare alcohol in the house before that happens. So on Christmas Eve, two surprising things happened. Um, First was that I ended up in A&E with my daughter Kellen yet again. We've been in and out for the past 5 or 6 weeks, but they'd done a blood test on her. They always do blood tests in A&E, and she is monstrously hard to get blood out of because she doesn't move any of her body. She doesn't develop veins, so all of her veins are tiny little threads and deep in the flesh. And so they always need to get an expert in with an ultrasound machine and then spend a long time poking around with needles. And if she comes out, she's covered in bruises from these attempts. And they got blood out of her on the Sunday, no, on the Wednesday, I think it was. Anyway, several days before they'd got blood out of her for the I don't know 10th time this month. Um, and on Christmas Eve, when we were trying to get results for those tests, uh, they had lost the blood they'd taken, so we had to go in and get it done again, which was not the way any of us wanted to spend our Christmas Eve. And the other surprise was that when I did get home from the hospital with Kellen, I was bouncing around on Twitter and I spotted the cover of my next book there. Um, and there was absolutely no problem with the person who tweeting it because it was on Amazon.com. And so why would anyone think that it was not released? It's clearly, once it's on Amazon, it is totally released. Um, so this year and last year, I had plans that I was hoping to do a book cover release, and the thing was going to be based on a jigsaw. Um, and last year, my UK publisher accidentally um, put the cover on Amazon. I mean, there's probably a large part of Amazon involved there where they give the cover to Amazon and say, could you put this up at this particular time? And Amazon just go, nah, we'll do it now. Um, but, I didn't think it would happen twice in a row. And it didn't. It happened with my US publisher. Something similar must have happened there and it just popped up on Amazon. So um, I tried to get ahead of that and just tweeted it myself and put it on Facebook, and people seem to like it. And we will look at it in a minute. Um, but I did want to just talk about Tom Roberts' work. I'm by no means an art critic, but I know what I like. Um, and I have higher resolution versions of these covers than you'll find on the internet. So I'm going to minimize myself here a bit if I can find the right button to do so. And then I'll be able to show you more of the image, because this image here is many thousands of pixels. Let's see if I can get the buttons to appear. We can see it's yeah, 2 and a bit thousand by 3 and a bit thousand. And the thing I like about these, I've got a poster of it on my wall just up there, is that you can zoom in, and you can't even see this on the book cover. You can obviously see a lot more on the book cover than you can on the Amazon images and whatnot. But you can seemingly just zoom in to arbitrary levels and oops, no, I don't want to be drawing on it. Only at this sort of level, and I've seen it does go to high detail. Do we start to see any pixelation at all? So now these are starting to look a little bit fuzzy. But when you consider the area on the cover that these objects occupy, so let's zoom back out. These are tiny details that are in many cases obscured by the lettering. This whole area is sort of made darker so that the title can appear against a background and not be sort of obscured by clutter. But when you see the artwork on its own, and then you realize that you can just zoom into these things and that there's just detail everywhere, ornamentation on almost everything. I'm impressed by that level, and as we'll see on the cover for the book too, there's a similar level of detail and ornamentation going on. And I'm not privy to Tom Roberts's method of production, so there's obviously some computer input here where he's replicating things and maybe he's using skins or whatever. I don't know, but I am privy to got the artwork for the short story Overdue, which you should buy and read, which goes with the library trilogy. And for that, Tom Brown, a different fine artist, sent me the literally hand drawn skeleton of the thing. I'll just get off my wall. So here we have the pencil drawing, and I'm not sure, but you can see that you can zoom into that, and there is no uh, computer replication going on in any of this. And for all I know, Tom Roberts did exactly the same, but the amount of time and tiny little details covering this whole area that is then coloured in for the cover of the short story just staggers me how much is involved. And I thought, seeing as we are in a year where AI art is dominating the news, it's just nice to look at the level of uh, effort and detail and imagination that these artists put in, and that you can zoom into the artwork and look at sort of um, things that nobody else will ever notice and find there's a little face or a little owl or some sort of scroll work. It's rather like if you've ever been to, I go to the Natural History Museum in London, and there's sort of confection of stonework. There's sort of Victorian carving everywhere. They were going for sort of a Gothic feel for it, and there's all these little bits of stonework in high places and around the backs of pillars that no one will ever see. Where some skilled mason has spent many hours making something of beauty. So we'll move on to the actual cover, which is this. So um, similar style, but different details and a very nice color scheme there, with all the books sort of seeming to generate their own light and glow. This is not as high a resolution as the previous one, but it's higher than the one on Amazon. This is a sort of draft, a sort of few weeks beforehand, where the publisher were playing around with the lettering. And there is a typo on this one, which many people have pointed out to me, but it's not present in the Amazon version. So let's just zoom in on that title typo for starters. The wouldn't is obviously not spelled correctly there, but it is on Amazon and will be on your book. And you can see there that the raven who we saw represented in the previous one is here in having taken flight. And there's all this nice gold raying, which I'm sure Voyager at least will put on in gold foil on their cover. This is the US version, and it's very similar to the UK version, just slight tweaking of the color map. I think the Americans like to go for a bit more vibrancy, and the Brits a bit more muted, giving it that sort of more of a ye olde feeling to it. But it's the same thing. And there we are. It's the book that broke the world. You can go on all of the Amazons and pre-order it. Why not? That'd be a good thing to do. And that's all I wanted to say, really. I just wanted to show you that so that it was on my YouTube channel, as well as being on Amazon, and my various other social media. So I will leave you guys to enjoy whatever leftovers you have, and I'll talk to you later. And now we get the interesting bit where I hunt for the way to turn you off. Ciao.